will even charge more just because they have to paint a lot of white on a model. But why is it hard? What's difficult about white? And how can we fix it to make the model look white very easily, very quickly? So let's say we want to paint the hairs of this guy in a white. The best option to do it, and as you can see the model is primed black even, the best option wouldn't be to prime it black if you want to be faster or if you have a lot of white to paint, but my personal choice is to always prime black my models. I don't really know why, I just love painting over black. So we're painting white, and I can show you a prime example of something that has been painted fully white and doesn't look very nice when you look at it. So like, if you look at these nice model here, you can see that the armor is darker than the rim. The reason is because I was asked to paint the rim in a white color by the commissioner, or because they wanted it for playing reasons. But when I painted the model, I wasn't thinking about the rim, and I was just trying to paint a good white. And as you can notice, the rim is brighter than the actual model, even though it's a Tau and it's supposed to be wearing a white armor. So rule number one for painting white is that you don't want to use pure white when you're doing it, except maybe for edge highlights or some very, very fine highlighting. Pure white needs to be very, very scarcely used, otherwise it does play around a bit too much with the values and the contrast, and the model looks super odd. So rule number one, paint your models not in pure white. Always use darker shades of gray or ivory or creamy colors or whatever you want, but don't use pure white, especially as a base coat. You want to highlight into white, but you want to have the base coat of something that looks white, not white. If you pick a piece of paper and you fold it, you will notice that the pure white look of the piece of paper gets progressively darker the more you fold it, pretty much, to a point where you almost don't even see the pure white. It just becomes like a gray thing, right? That's the reasoning behind painting white as well. Even if an object is white, it will have reflections on the top of it that make it look bright and white, but the shades of it and the base coat of it will actually look a dark gray even sometimes. So this is step number one. You don't want your white to be pure white, except in the edge highlights and in the strongest highlights of it. How do we use this white though? Like, we do want some white in the model, right? And that white needs to come from somewhere. And if you have painted long enough, especially using GW paints, you will have understood that their whites aren't very good, and you're gonna be like, oh, white sky is such a bad color. And you're right, and most whites from GW are very bad colors. Everything that is even remotely tinted with white from GW will not be a good color, generally speaking. That's the strongest weakness. They will tell you to use Lamia medium and stuff to be able to use them well, but my answer to that is just buy an heavy body or buy an ink. So this is heavy body. There are many brands who make them. I'm using currently Liquitex, but Winsor & Newton makes it, Schmickel makes it, lots of brands make it. Heavy bodies are artist grade paints. They are not for miniature painters per se. When these were invented, they weren't for miniature painters. These are for canvas or other purposes. But we use them in miniature painting, not only the whites, also other colors, for the look and the effect. Everybody are very nice, especially the white, because as you can see, if I can manage to get this open, looks like toothpaste really. It's not really a paint. See, like, comes out. It's not watery like our normal paints are, and if you check it, it's super thick, super thick. And we like this actually, because this means that when we go to dilute this color, we're gonna have a nice coverage of the white without getting any weird chalkiness or lack of coverage like we do in our normal miniature paints. To be fair though, there is a white from miniature painting companies that is really good, and that white is the Monument Titanium White. So if you don't want to get into artist grade stuff and you still want to use miniature painting colors, Monument White is super great. It's not as good as a heavy body or an ink, but it is very close to being that. So this is a really good color. I use it very often actually, because I'm lazy. I cannot really be arsed working on with inks and heavy bodies, so I will always, not always, but usually rely upon this color instead. That said though, heavy bodies and inks have different uses. An ink, like this one from Schmincke, is a very good ink that you can use to highlight your colors on the palette, or you can use it to very gently tint a color to make it brighter while it's on top of the model already. I'll try to show you a few examples of how to use these colors. So let's get started on painting the Dryad guy. Let's go. I have these guy primed in black. All I have to do now is get some black, get it on a palette, and then mix it in with some ink to make a gray. I don't usually use pure gray colors. I also shake my inks as well. They tell you to shake them, so you should do them. Even if it doesn't feel like you should. So yes, I don't use a gray, a pre-mixed one. I always mix my own. I don't really know why, I just like doing it. And also, I never really found a good gray that covers well over black without too much effort. I just find myself liking this mix more. So we have a gray, and as you can see, like the ink mixed super well with the color, and now it gives me such a smooth paint too. Because the best thing about inks is that they are very watery. They're like, you can call them washes, even though they are definitely not washes, but that's how they feel like. So when you mix them with a normal acrylic color, they make that color very, very diluted, which means that you can literally use inks to dilute your paints. Like, you can have a base coat color with a bit of ink in it, and as you can see, it flows so easily off of the brush, and it covers so well too. And at the same time, if you want to progressively highlight, you can just add more ink to it, and it will dilute the color, making a layer or even a glaze sometimes, without having to actually add water, which is really good because it allows you to not lose pigmentation, because you're not really adding water to separate the pigments, you're just adding more of another color, so you're making it brighter, but the amount of pigments is still going to be pretty stable in your paint, which means that you get some very, very nice layers using inks. So white is the one we're talking about today, but there are many other inks that are really good, and I mean, I don't think they are necessary in an arsenal of a painter. I mean, except the white and black. Black and white are really good. All the others you can live without, but they allow you to have some very nice vibrancy in your colors, which sometimes you want. So we have this color down, and again, let me show you how the ink actually behaves on. Like, you can see, it's very, very watery. This particular ink here is a bit thicker than most inks, but in general, that's how inks are. They're very watery. So if I add more of this ink, I get a brighter gray. And now what I'm going to do is highlight, avoiding the shadows. So as you can see, I'm not using pure white at all. I'm starting from a dark gray, and now I'm adding a bit more white to it, but I'm still super, super far from pure white, which is rule number one, and also like the only important rule really. You don't want to get to pure white. Not in the first few steps, at least. I'm going to be using pure white on these, but at the end of the paint job. Also, please don't judge the quality of the painting. I'm doing it very, very quickly just to show you guys how it looks like on a general idea. I'm not really looking for impressive quality. And inks are good because they can be feathered very, very easily. That makes them fantastic. You can feather an ink super easily, and you get some very nice blending with just a little lick of the brush. Okay, we have this down. Okay, now more ink. This time we can go a lot brighter if we want. We are almost pure white, as you can see, but not quite pure white. And we can do one more highlight on these hairs to make them look even whiter, but they already look white. As you can see, like, I don't need pure white to make them look white. They just it's so difficult to explain because it's a matter of the local contrast between colors, like what gives the idea of the origin of a color on an object is related to many different things, and it's difficult to explain. But let's just say that you don't need pure white. As I said many times already, you don't really need pure white. You just want bright colors, close to white, but not pure white. And again, going forward, just making it slightly brighter, not covering the previous layer, just leaving it there to create the illusion of shading and progressive highlighting. The bad thing about inks, this one specifically, is that it's very glossy. Not really glossy, but it's super satin. So on hairs, it works really well. On other things, it doesn't. So you wanna maybe varnish it at the end, or use a heavy body, because heavy bodies are satin as well, but way less than this particular ink is. Or you can buy matte inks, although this one is a matte ink, and it's not really matte. But it might also be due to the fact that I haven't shook it very much. I was trying to be quick. So yes, we have this white here. As you can see, it's starting to look nice. Trying to get, leaving some of the first gray we base coated on top. And as you can see also, like, I'm covering over black super easily. The paint is not getting chalky at all. I'm getting one coat base coats. I'm not really struggling to get the paint to cover. I'm just, slapping it down and it covers. That's because inks are super powerful tools, and they cover really well when you add them to another color. If you use them separately, like on their own, they don't cover very well because they are very similar to washes, although they are not really washes. And but if you add them to a color, that color gives some thickness to the paint, making it cover very easily. And I will use inks sometimes when I want to do like a very quick base coat on a big surface. I will use an ink. Even though I might have a color that matches exactly what I want, I will mix that color using inks and normal paints in order to achieve faster base coating. And this is a secret, really, that most professional painters do. Some of them, many painters will use inks into the paints to change the properties a little bit. But we have this down. Very nice. Now we can go with pure white, and now I'm using pure white. Like, see how far I've painted until I got to actually pure white. Now with this pure white, we can do the strongest highlights on the little hairs of this guy. We don't really want to cover them all. We just want the highlights to be super strong in a few spots. Again, trying to preserve the highlights we have done previously, especially in the recesses of the hairs. I'm not gonna go into how to paint hairs. I'm not really trying very hard. I just picked up this model to show you guys a quick and nice way to see this at work. If you do want to see a video on how to paint hairs way better than this, you can just ask in the comments and I'll do my best to make it in a near future. Alright, so I think I like this. I mean, it needs a lot of cleanup. Like, I need to, I have gone over a lot of the folds in these hairs, which I shouldn't have. which means like I can go back with the base gray I had and very gently try to pick out these things too. Or simply I should have put a bit more focus into not making mistakes, and I could have avoided this as well. But you can see that these white covered over black in a second. And again, even if I just, if I start from black without going through the gray, and if I try to base coat this on, I don't know, let's try the bow. Like you can see, I'm using this is not pure white. It's like a very bright gray. But see how nice it covers in one coat, just one coat, pure white, almost pure white, one coat. And when this dries, it's gonna dry nicely. Like I might need another coat in a few spots, but generally speaking, this is gonna cover super well. And I haven't gone insane. I haven't had to spend 75 hours just getting this to coat. I did not have any kind of chalkiness or weird effects to the painting. I just covered the black and it looks nice. And again, when it dries, I'm probably gonna have to do another coat, but that's not really a problem, is it? Like 2 coats is still better than 7500 like you usually end up doing when you use other paints. So this is my favorite way of doing white. But if you don't like inks for any reason, you can also use heavy bodies, and they have this same exact effect. Heavy bodies are slightly less glossy, and they are much thicker, so that means that they need a lot of dilution. They are harder to use than inks. I would suggest inks to those who are new to painting or are not experienced with it, because heavy bodies are super thick, so you end up diluting them a lot, and then it gets kind of difficult to control the dilution when you mix them to other colors. I would go with inks and just straight up inks when you need to highlight something. Heavy bodies are better for a straight up pure white base coat, but you never really do it, do you? Because as we mentioned, you don't want to do pure white. You want to do shades of gray, progressively brighter, into a color that looks white because of how you highlighted it. But again, as you can see, like the pure white, it's only here, in a few spots, but I haven't really used pure white much on this thing, but the hairs still look white. That's because it's all about the contrast, So that's the thing. And again, I hope you guys enjoyed the guide. If you have questions about what I said, please let me know. I think I said everything I wanted to say, honestly. And if you want to watch this stream, I do every day almost, except Thursday. Every day from 11 GMT plus 1 to 7 GMT plus 1. And I'm also doing evening streams now. So if you want to check out the stream and have fun, spend time with us, join giveaways such as this guy, because I do giveaways. Every month we do a giveaway. This is this month giveaway. I'm gonna give this guy away the 29th of October. So if you want to check out how to win this model and many others, please come check the Twitch channel at twitch.tv/MeHSden. There will be a link in the description for you to follow if you want. And again, thank you so much. I hope this guide helped you out. White is secretly easy to paint. All you need to do is have the best tools, and it's difficult to know what these tools are when you are new to painting and you just find yourself using white scar, which is the devil, or like other colors similar to that. But if with just an ink, which is something you never really see mentioned in amateur hobbyist forums or videos or whatever, with an ink you can get that result so much faster, so much better, so much cleaner. So yes, I hope you guys found the guide useful, and I wish you a fantastic night. I'll see you later. Bye bye.